Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? Or this morning, or whenever you are listening to this, dinner time, cleaning the house. Look how tired I look. I literally woke up like 45 minutes ago, and then I got on the computer. Well, I let the dogs out. Who let the dogs out? And then I got on the computer and I did a little shopping. It is currently 3:54 a.m. I did a little shopping for Christmas. It's so hot in here. And I am hoping that I didn't do it too late. I bought my cousin Caroline her Christmas present. And then I bought her son David something that I had seen on Instagram. I am like such a sucker, you guys, for the advertisements that come up on Instagram. Do you guys like shop off of that thing? I don't want that one, I want the coffee one. Well, I guess this is fine. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like if you're on Instagram, you know what I'm talking about. There's like sponsored posts from companies. And I'm constantly screenshotting stuff. And tonight I was like going through there and it was this thing that was like, I don't want to talk about it in case he for some reason watches this channel. I don't think he does. I think he only watches my review channel, but I don't want him to know what I got him. But sometimes they'll have like companies that have like really cool concepts of things that you like really would never have thought about. I like washed this sweatshirt and it is like tight on me right now. But it was this thing and I was like, what is this? Like I thought about it, like, for me first, because of what they had, I'll explain it after Christmas, but because of what they had, like, shown on the ad, and then when I went to the website, they had something, I was, like, looking through their different options, and I was like, oh my god, this is so perfect for David. So I'm really excited about giving him that, and then I had been meaning to order Caroline something as well, and so I went on and I ordered that. And then I was trying to think about what to get her husband for Christmas. He doesn't even really care a whole lot about gifts and stuff like that, but so I might just get him like a gift certificate to something, like, you know, a gift card somewhere, but we'll see. And then I have to get his son and wife something for Christmas, and then I think I'm done with like my family. Well, my dad and my stepmom, we're having lunch with them this weekend, so I'm gonna get them something. But like they're so hard to shop for because they buy everything that they want, and so I don't really like. My dad is really hard to shop for. I used to just buy him, like I would do like a basket and put like their favorite kinds of cheeses and stuff in there and all that kind of stuff, but they don't even eat some of the same stuff that they used to eat. My stepmom's real easy for like a Sephora gift card because she loves makeup, but and like beauty supplies and stuff like that. But a lot of her skincare that she wears is like high-end, like, what do you call it? Like prescription skincare and stuff like that. Like, so I couldn't afford the skincare that she uses. And, I mean, it's not the kind of stuff that you can like go into Sephora or Ulta to buy, but she loves Sephora. So I'll probably, buy her something from Sephora. I don't know, like I've got to get them something, and that's in the next 2 days. So I'll get them something. We're doing lunch. I don't even think like this is really Christmas. We're just like getting together for lunch. So, but I do want to get them something before Christmas, because if not, then because we usually see them after Christmas. So I'll feel better if I just give it to them before Christmas. So yeah, that'll be fun. I'm excited about seeing them. We always have a blast when we go out to lunch with them. And we try to do like go out to dinner, like brunch, like, you know, brunch or lunch, like on the weekends, like once a month or something like that. And then I'm trying to think of what else we have planned this weekend. Alex has something that he and Sarah are thinking about going to on Saturday night. We went to dinner with Sarah tonight. And so she brought it up and they were like, do you want to go? And I can't remember what it was now, but it was something I didn't want to go to. But then we were talking about going to like see the Christmas lights at different places here in Indianapolis. And I was like, yeah, I really would like to do that. So we might do something like that on Sunday. We'll just have to see. Anyway, what did you do today, Peter? Oh my God, today has been such a long day. So I woke up, I actually looked really nice earlier, you guys. My hair was done. I might just leave my hat off in a second, but my hair was done. It was so funny. Somebody on the other day when I was commenting about my hair, they said, we listen to your vlog. We don't watch your vlog for what your hair looks like. And I was like, okay. So they were like, stop worrying about your hair. And it was like, so true. And I was like, okay. But anyway, I got up today and I took the dogs out and was like getting ready and stuff because I have this recovery commitment thing all afternoon to do. And it actually went a lot longer than I thought it would. And so, and I wanted to look nice and like, you know, take a shower and all that stuff for it, obviously, before I left, instead of just like throwing on a hoodie and a hat. So I did all that, I got ready, and I went to go pull out my jeans from the dryer that I had like just washed. I washed this like hoodie and these jeans and some other t-shirts and stuff like that. And I put them on, and I've had these jeans forever, right? And I leaned over to like cuff them because I cuff my jeans like twice, like big cuffs on my jeans. That's something, I always try to think of things that you guys probably wouldn't know about me. Like I always cuff my jeans like real big on the bottoms. So anyway, I was cuffing my, like, unless they're like straight-legged jeans that are kind of like tighter, then I don't. Like if I'm going out to dinner or something, but like if I'm just like going around through the day or whatever, I cuff my jeans. So or doing something casual. But anyway, so I bent over, I was sitting on the bed, I bent over to cuff these jeans and I heard and I ripped, literally, I was like, oh my God, I like fell underneath my jeans. I was like, oh my God. I like ripped the ass straight out of these jeans, you guys. Is that a sign from God that it is time to get on the health track? Maybe so. And I didn't even like get mad about it. I just was like, oh my God. So, but what was embarrassing about it was, well, not really embarrassing, but so I didn't like have any other jeans. I have jeans that are, so I wear like a 38 in jeans, okay? Like, let's just be completely 100%. Look at this hairdo after sleeping on it when it looked nice. Let's just be straight up honest, right? So I wear like a 38 jean, and well, what's funny about this is I had a pair of Levi's and the crotch ripped out of them like 2 weeks ago. Like this is the second pair of jeans this has happened to. I have to just talk about it because I mean, like it is just so ridiculous at this point. So then I have another pair of 38 jeans that, because I just got rid of all these jeans, right? Okay, and the jeans I got rid of were like larger sizes. They were like 40s, and I don't wear a 40 anymore. I mean, I'm heavy, but I'm not that heavy. So, so I got rid of those because I was like, oh, I'm gonna be, you know, getting into shape and all this kind of stuff. But anyway, so I only have like 3 pairs, I think, of like 38s. And then I have several pairs of 36s. Well, my other pair of 38s are this Macy's INC brand, which I actually really like, but they're kind of like skin tight. They're like stretchy material, and I wear them like when I go out, like when I was in Miami and stuff like that, I would wear them because they come to like they kind of come to like my ankle, and then I wear them with like those ASOS shoes or whatever, but they're probably not something I would wear throughout the day, plus they're super tight. So I was like, okay, I can't wear those. My Levi's are ripped. And these were Joe's jeans that I had. And I was like, I have to have, I thought I had like another pair of like 38s that were black somewhere or gray. And I couldn't find them anywhere. I was looking everywhere. And I was like, well, you're gonna have to wear those those dress pants that you got, those Alfani dress pants that you got for the funeral a couple weeks ago or a month ago. So I wore these navy blue dress pants with like this black t-shirt that was like this nice black t-shirt. And I was like, this is gonna have to be it. I was like, this is... So anyway, that was my day. And then, as soon as I let the dogs outside, and I had on these, well, I have them on right now, these, like, Sperry Sperry boat shoes, topsiders. Oh, their house, all those lights look so pretty. As soon as I let them outside, like, Boo and Tucker, like, took off right and started, like going, oh, and, like, going crazy about something, but I couldn't see what they were going crazy about. And so I was like, what are they barking about? And so I'm like trying to go out there, and Pee-wee's just like sitting right in front of the deck, and I can't see them, which means I have to go out there, okay, and looking nice and stuff, and I'm like slipping because it's real wet out there, and I'm like looking exactly where I'm going so I don't step in dog poop. I mean, it just was, this morning was just like, oh my God. But anyway, you know, I'm a big believer in starting your day over whenever you want. I left the house in a positive mood. I was in a good mood when I left. So I just was like, whatever, this is just my life. And I actually was only just running a little bit late because of all of that stuff. I have my winter berry Sprite here. Winter spice Sprite. So then I went and did the recovery thing. And that went until about 3:30 or 4. And I was supposed to be out of there between like 2:30 and 3. And so afterwards, I wanted to do the review video on the way home because I was doing Dunkin' Donuts. But I wanted to go to the mall first because I've been wanting to go to the mall. I talked about this on here not too long ago. I've been wanting to go to the mall and look at some like colognes and things like that. I wanted to go to Sephora and see some stuff that they have there. But I didn't want to go in when I looked just like total trash because they're just, I don't know. Like, I hate saying this. Actually, the people that were at Saks today were so completely friendly. In the Joe, well, in all the sections, but I went to the Joe Malone clone section. They were so nice to me. I don't think they would have cared if I came in there with a ratty t-shirt on and, you know, in a baseball hat backwards. I don't think they would care. You know, like they just would have been, they were just really, really nice. But when I went to the Creed Aventus, she was a little bit like, even though I had my hair done and I had on a nice, you know, coat and things like that, she was even kind of like a little bit, I just don't understand what that's about, like looking down on people like that in stores. Like, people will surprise, somebody said this on my vlog when I said it the other night, people who will surprise you all the time, like, you know, with what they can afford and what they might want to spend money on and stuff like that. I don't know. The most showy people in the entire world are typically the people that can't afford what they're looking at to begin with, as far as I've been concerned or found in my life. But so I went into the mall and I went to the Joe Malone section at Saks. And so Joe Malone is like, they do like candles and all this kind of stuff, and I smelled like every perfume and cologne that they have. They have all these unisex, they're mostly unisex, and I had it narrowed down to like, this is so nice, let me tell you what they did, okay? I had it narrowed down to like 4 or 5, and I really liked this one called Tonka and Myrrh, I think, but they were out of it, okay? Can we just talk about this for a second? So, it was a girl and a guy that were helping me, and the guys worked at Saks forever because I always see him in there. And I think he used to work in like the sunglass department or the shoe department or something, because he's helped me before. He's really a nice guy, and I think he actually worked at Nordstrom before he worked at Saks. But anyway, so when I got done, I ended up buying this because I didn't have the one I wanted. I ended up buying the 154. So if you wear Joe Malone, I got the 154. And it's a very distinct smell. And I really like, So I'm so taken like with advertising and things. Their Christmas ads are this like guy and this girl, and they're sitting around this Christmas tree. It's an English company, I believe, and they're these really, really cool ads. And they're like sitting around this Christmas tree, and the guy has like a top hat on, and the girl has like a top hat on, and it's very like androgynous, and you know, it's just it's a cool. I just love the concept. This car behind me in the road, like I'm wanting to like turn because it is literally like weaving like this. It just like went over like 2 whole lanes. So anyway, I ended up getting the 154. That's what the cologne is that I got. And let's see what's going on here. They're not pulling up as far as me. And they were like, we can order it for you, the one that you want. I was like, no, don't worry about it. It's cool, whatever. They were so nice to me. They're like, well, like if we find a sample in here, we'll give you a sample. And I'm like, oh my God, don't even worry about it. I'm like, I'm totally fine. And they're like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, totally. Don't even worry about it. I'm really excited about this. I want to try it, whatever. And I had gone into the mall deciding that I was going to spend some money on some cologne today. Like I knew I needed to buy some Creed. I was literally down to like the last drop today. I was like rubbing it in, but I've really made that last. Like I think I bought it before I went to, I know exactly when I bought it because I left my last bottle in Mexico because I can remember that I had like none left, and I said to Alex, should I bring it back on the plane because it's heavy, it's like a heavy bottle? And he goes, yeah, and I go, but it's empty. And he goes, well then just leave it here. And so I left it there because it was completely empty in Mexico, and that would have been like the first week of April. So what is that? April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. So 8 months it lasted. I think that's pretty good, you know? And I mean, I wear it a lot. There's a new, so then I went over to the Creed station, and there's a new Creed that just came, there's a new Creed Aventus that just came out, and it's like a sportier version of it. I, at first, could not tell any difference between the original Creed Aventus and the new one. And I was like, well, what's the difference? And she's like, well, you know how like the brands come out with like these like streetwear and like you know, like more casual. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, this is their more casual. Or I didn't really understand how she was explaining it to me. And I was like, how can you tell that by the smell? It smelled almost identical to me. But the new one I liked a little bit less. Like there was something about it that was, I just couldn't tell. She's like, well, it has more of like the certain notes in it that are more masculine, and the original is more unisex. And I was like, well, I like that. Or she was like, the new one is more unisex, or the original is more masculine. And I was like, well, okay, I like the original, so we're just gonna stick with that. And then she was like trying to sell me on this kit, because I said, do you guys have like travel sizes? And she's like, no, but you can buy this kit. And this kit had, like, you got 3 of these, like, spray bottles that go in an atomizer, and then you got, like, this black leather atomizer, right? Which would be very cool to travel with. The kit was, like, $300, okay? And then the bottle that you would buy to fill it up with, because it had, like, this little thing, and you would, like, pour it into the atomizer and stuff, was, like, $695. I just looked at her and I go, no, and she was really trying to sell me on it. I was like, no, I'm not, I mean, I spent some money today on cologne, and I like very rarely do that. And I was like, this is gonna be the cologne that's gonna get me through the major part of 2020. And I was like, I have the money right now because I've been saving my money for Christmas shopping, and so, you know, like I have the money right now to buy this stuff, so I'm gonna buy it while I have the money. So I won't feel bad about it like a month from now, you know? But I was like, I looked at her and I thought to myself, who comes in here and just drops $1,000? I mean, I'm sure people do, but I was like, who comes in here and just drops $1,000 on this kit and all this kind of stuff? And she's like, well, the cologne will last you for a year. And I'm like thinking to myself, like, the bottle looks small. And I was saying, and it was like straight, like, perfume. I guess they don't call it cologne, they call all of them perfumes. But it was like a straight perfume, like, not like a spray. It was, and I was like, I'll go through that. The more I have, the more I'll go through. And she was like, really? And I go, yeah. And I was like, yeah, I don't need that. I need the smaller, I need the 3.3 ounces. So I got that. And then I went up to Sephora, which I shouldn't have done, because I walk into Sephora and I start seeing everything that they actually, like Sephora and Ulta have so many things that are just like fun things, like lip balms and, you know, candles, and like Sephora has that brand Nest, and I really like that brand of candles. So they have a lot of stuff in there that you know, has really, isn't just like makeup stuff. And so, not that it would matter, but I just, you know, I don't wear makeup. But I ended up getting, oh, by the way, I want to say this, because I don't know, I'll show it in a PO unboxing, but I'm also going to do a review of it. I got this really cool set of lip balms today from Beekman, 1802 or 1902. It has no note on it. It doesn't say who sent it to me. You guys, when you see this box, you'll die. It's like this box, and it has like 12 lip balms in it, and they're high-end lip balms. They're like really, really nice. Well, I looked online to see like if it comes straight from the company, because I think it came straight from the company, and it's like $54. So if there's, what is that? I don't know how much that is divided by 12, but it's really a nice little lip balm kit. I don't know who sent this to me, so if you sent it to me, will you please let me know? Will you email me so that I know that you sent it to me, because I'd like to give you a proper thank you. But anyway, so I was in Sephora, and I saw Evan's, because I know Evan's grandma and aunt, I think it is, or mom and aunt watch my vlog. So hi, Evan's family. And Evan is somebody that has watched my videos, for my drama channel videos, for a long time, and he works in Sephora, and he's super friendly. And so I talked to him for a little bit, and then I had him show me the replica colognes, because I had really wanted to try those, and so many people have recommended those to me. And somebody the other day, I don't know who it was, thank you so much, went through and was like, literally like, these are all of my favorites of this and my favorites of that. And I screenshot a couple people that had said some stuff about different colognes. So I really wanted to try this one called By the Fireplace. So that was the one that I smelled first. First of all, I didn't realize how expensive these were, these replica colognes. They're like $120. So I smelled this one that was called By the Fireplace. I had smelled a couple of them before, like Jazz Club is one of them, and they were just really cool names, like Whispers in the Library and stuff. So I tried By the Fireplace, and it really smells like smoky. It's like, it almost kind of smells like toasted marshmallows, like s'more. I don't even know how to explain it, but it could be very masculine, or it could be very, like, it doesn't have like flowery scents like that, but it just smells like sitting by a fireplace. I don't even know how to explain it. And then there's another one that is called Jazz Club, and I would say it's really masculine, and it has like a guy in the front sitting in like a leather chair. And then there's another one called Whispers in the Library. Those were the three that I tried that I really liked, and I ended up getting By the Fireplace, which, yeah, I love it, and my husband does not like it. I said, do you like this? And he was like, no. And I was like, you don't like that? Like, usually, like, if he does that, then I'm like, yeah, I kind of don't like it either now. But I really like it. So, I don't know. And then, that was at like 5-something. I was leaving there, 5:30, and Alex was going to be done with work around 6. And so he texted me when I was like walking out of the mall. And he was like, what are you doing, babe? And I was like, I am leaving the mall, and now I'm going to go do my review video. And he was like, and then what are you going to do? Because I'm getting ready to head home. And I was like, I don't know. I said, have you eaten today? And he's like, yeah, I had a salad for lunch, but I'm going to be hungry for dinner. And I said, okay, do you want to grab some dinner? Because we haven't, like, you know, done like a dinner date, just like the two of us, and for a while now. And so he was like, yeah, that would be fun. And so... okay, it stopped. Look at that hairdo. So we were just gonna, you know, do something casual, and then he said, well, where do you want to go? And I said I wanted to do like Puccini's, which is like just this place up the street. It's like this little local pasta place, but their pasta is so good. You get this amazing salad with it, and then they have bread and stuff like that. So I said Puccini's, or where was the other place I said? Or Pei Wei, because I knew that he might want Chinese. And he was like, yeah, neither one of those sound good to me. He was like, how about Cholita, which is this Mexican place that just opened in Broad Ripple like a year ago. And I was like, okay. but I wasn't really hungry for Mexican food. So we came home. We literally had like our coats on and we're just like laying in bed talking. It was so sweet. And then finally I took my coat off and I was just kind of like sitting there, and I was like, hey, we're gonna have to go get something to eat before long, because if we don't, oh, he had said before that, he was like, if you don't want to go do Mexican, he's like, I could totally do Puccini. So the thing is that when we go to Puccini's, he always gets a pizza, and last night he had just gotten a pizza with Sarah. So anyway, so we left and to go eat, and what was I doing? Oh, I had put up my review video. I was like getting it ready. We were waiting for that to like render so I could upload it, and then I was rendering my booktube video as well so I could start uploading them while we were gone, and then I could post them when we got back. So when we were walking out the door, Sarah called, and she'd kind of like, you know, just had some kind of crazy kind of day. And I was like, ask her if she wants to go with us. I said, you know, she lives so close to us now, and it's like really nice that, you know, for our entirety of our relationship, my best friend has lived 5-10 minutes from me, and I've been able to go get her whenever I wanted to, go out to dinner, go out to lunch, go get a coffee, I mean, I can call Tanya anytime, and he's just been able to do that, and I think it's so nice. So I was like, ask Sarah if she wants to go. And so so he was like, Peter wants to know if you want to come to dinner, and she was like I could hear her, and she was like, well, I've got to go to Walmart. And I said, girl, you can go to Walmart afterwards. Come to dinner with us. So she met us for dinner, and it was real cute, and we had a good time. And it was so funny, because she was like, I think I'm going to try the calzones. And she kept on calling them calzones. She was being real funny about it. And we had a really nice waitress. It was just like a low-key, laid-back dinner. It was nice, and it was cold outside, and it was kind of fun to have pasta, you know. Of course, I don't need pasta, but it was kind of fun to have pasta. And I had fettuccine, and then she had some kind of vegetarian calzone. She kind of goes back and forth between being a vegetarian and not being a vegetarian, but she tries to eat more vegetarian. And then Alex got a 16-inch cheese pizza, of which he ate half of and took home. and he and I started with some spinach dip. And of course, then I had a salad too. It was just so good. It was just nice, and the restaurant's like real family, and there's like a lot of families there, and it's so cheap. It's like such a great place to go, like get pasta because it's cheap. Like, I'm trying to think of how much our bill was. I don't even remember now, but it really wasn't expensive at all. Like, I mean, for all of that food that you get, and like, you can get out of there with like a 16-inch pizza, like cheese pizza, for like $12 or something. Like, it's pretty cheap. So, and then we came home, and I called and talked to a friend of mine for a little bit. And then Alex, what did he do when we got home? Oh my God. So I talked to my friend, and then I came upstairs, and Alex was like, he had shaved his face, and he was doing this face mask. He wanted to do that. I bought him that, like, Philip. I always think of Philip Seymour Hoffman when I'm thinking about this face mask. But he had done that. Philip, why can't I? Peter Roth is the Peter, what's his name? You know what I'm talking about, that face mask. He really likes that one, the charcoal one. And so he was doing that face mask, and then he was getting ready to get in the shower, and he literally, he did this whole thing tonight of, this whole regimen of products, and he was like, it took him like an hour, and I was like trying to get ready to take a nap, because I wanted to lay down for a little bit, and that was at like 9:30. I was so tired. It was like it was like 9, because we went to dinner early. It was like 9 or 9:30, and I was so tired, and so, I fell asleep while he was like in the shower. And so he opened the door, and I could smell like all of like so all the little pups were sitting on the end of the bed waiting for him to come out of the shower. He opened like the door of the bathroom, and like all of the good smells of like you know, I'm talking about all of like the cleaning, like all the products that he was using, like came out. I was like, oh, I like woke up. It smelled like I was in a spa. And then he got into bed, and he went to bed too. I mean, we were in bed, both of us, like by, you know, that was at like, I laid down at like 9, and he got out of the shower, got done with all that stuff probably like 9:45, 10. He really, really, really likes Loey Lane's products called Love Yourself, I think is what they're called. And you can get them at Target. Alex loves those products. He really, really loves those products. I think he uses them like every day. So yeah, that was our day. And then tomorrow, what did he say he was doing? Oh, I know. It was some girl's birthday party or something on Saturday night. And, I said, because we got this laughing about this whole story. Okay, so Sarah said something about, Alex, I never know half these people that you talk about, like these friends of yours, these close friends of yours. She's like, I never know who half these people are. And I said, you know what, Sarah, is so funny about that? Is I said, I get these comments on my vlogs, and people will be like, I just got one of these the other day, and somebody was like, how is it that Peter doesn't know Alex's friends, okay, or something like that, which I think is also interesting. Like, this is kind of a double standard that people sometimes say. They'll be like, oh, you and Alex never, like, hang out together, which we actually hang out together quite a bit, like, at home. Just because I'm not recording it doesn't mean that we're not doing it, you know, or we go out to dinner a lot together, we travel a lot together or whatever. But then if Alex goes out with his girlfriends, people are like, Peter never goes. So I guess my question to you would be is, like, if you have, like, a wine night with your girlfriends, or, you know, if your husbands go over to their guy friend's house and they, you know, like, are drinking beer and like playing video games or watching a game or whatever, do you always go with them? Like, I mean, I think that's the double standard of gay couples, that we should always do everything with each other socially, and it's just not the case. But I was telling Sarah, I said, what is so funny is Alex will be like, I'll be like, hey, you know, like, did you have anything you're doing tonight? And he'll be like, well, I was supposed to go to, you know, like, Marie's birthday party. Do you want to go with me? And I'll be like, who's Marie? And he'll be like, you know Marie. And I'll be like, no, I don't know a Marie. And he'll be, because my husband is so social. Like, you guys have no idea. Like, he has been like this since high school, okay? And so, I mean, my husband prides himself on the fact that he went to, like, 5 homecomings and 6 proms all in 1 year, because he knew all these girls. So my husband used to dance for the Fever, which is the Indianapolis women's basketball team here in the Fever. And so he used to be one of their, like, hip-hop dancers. They have like a hip hop dance team that's kind of like, you know, like cheerleaders for like football teams, and like, you know, a lot of like basketball teams have dancing teams. So that was the dancing team for the Fever, and Alex was part of that. And so he met so many people when he danced for the Fever in Indianapolis, because he did it for like 3 years, I think. So he still has friends from back then, and, you know, friends of his from all over town that were like in ESL. They were all in ESL together from like, you know, 8th grade all the way through high school. And so he'll be like, oh, you know Marie. And I'm like, Marie? And he was like, yeah, Marie was in my senior year, you know, ESL class. She's from Portugal or Colombia or something. And I'm like, Marie? And he'll be like, yeah, with the long dark hair. I'm like, oh, that Marie? He'll be like, Marie, you met her at the race, when we went to the race in like 2000 and, you know, like 10. And she was the one that was in the green car. And I'm like, oh, that Marie. Okay, well, that's whose birthday it is. He's like, don't even, I remember, I know you met her, don't even try it. And so it was so funny, because tonight, Alex brought up some like birthday or something that he had to do. And it was like, and Sarah's like, does Alex ever bring up friends that you have? Like, no, I can't. But anyway, we were talking about how like Alex always does that. And she's like, he does the same thing with me. She was like, he brings people up with me all the time and be like, Sarah, you met him when we were at IU, don't you remember? And she's like, I have no idea who this person is. Like, Alex doesn't forget a person at all. Like, he never forgets somebody. And everywhere we go, my husband knows somebody. When we went to Miami, we were literally getting on the plane, and this guy in front of us turns around. I've never seen this guy before in my entire life, right? And it was this guy and his girlfriend, and he goes, oh my God, Alex, how are you? And Alex is like, oh my God, it's so great to see you. And he's like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm going down to Fort Lauderdale for the night. We're gonna, you know, I just had nothing else to do, so I was taking her down there. We're gonna go to this party, and then we're gonna fly back tomorrow. And he's like, and the guy looks at me and he goes, Peter, right? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, I've never met him. He goes, I know you from Facebook. I see all your pictures with Alex. Yeah. He's like, I've been wanting to meet you for a long time. And it's just so funny. I used to be so social when Alex and I first, you know, started dating. I went out all the time. That was when I was not in the rooms of recovery, back in the rooms. And I just got to a point where it just was not that, I mean, Alex doesn't even go out as much as he used to by a long shot anymore. But I just got so over it, you know? And not because the people were boring or I didn't have a good time always and things like that, because that wasn't the case. I mean, I had a lot of fun and I met a lot of fun people, but I didn't really ever forge like lasting relationships. I mean, if my husband gets invited to a birthday party, a baby, he goes to everything, you know, because he loves to do that kind of stuff. I'm just not that person. I don't love to go to everything. But you know, back then we went to everything. We literally went to everything. But I also had a much like simpler life back then. I think sometimes, as busy as I am between like my recovery life, my YouTube life of having 5 channels, and then, you know, like my friendships, my marriage, the dogs, the house, and other things that I have going on behind the scenes, you know, I think like, I know it looks like a lot, like it looks often to people like, oh, he just throws on a hoodie and he's in a car and driving around talking about like what a boring day he had. But like I have a very like busy day most days, you know? And so I don't really, at the end of it, like for me, I don't, like, and this was an understanding that we came to in therapy, you know, and we also had talked about it long before that, was that that's something that Alex enjoys doing, right? Like, he enjoys going out, he enjoys dancing, he drinks, so he enjoys going and having a couple drinks. I don't, like, that's not enjoyable to me. That's not how I want to spend the end of my week. So, you know, I might stay at home, or I might, you know, go to the casino, or I might, you know, watch a movie, or go get dinner with Tanya, or go to a meeting, or something like that, and that's relaxing to me. And you know, then we come together at the end, and then Sundays we spend all day together, and, you know, during the days on Fridays and Saturdays and stuff like that. It's always interesting to me when, like, people want to kind of like pick your marriage apart when there aren't problems there, and be like, oh, isn't it weird? Like, because I'll get the comments every once in a while, you know, and the people will be like, it's so weird, and it's never said in a nice way, it's always said in a really nasty way, that you guys like don't spend all this time together. Well, I mean, in reality, if you think about it, with like a lot of families that have kids and stuff, it's, I mean, Alex and I have been together 11 years. We're going on 12 years. It's not like we started dating 6 months ago. We've been together 11 years. We've been together a lot longer than a lot of couples out there. You know, 11 years is a long time. And when you think about people that have, like, say if they got married and now they have 8, 9, 10-year-olds, right? And mom on Saturday is with, you know, Sally Joe, not the elf, the daughter, you know, and she's taking her to dance recitals and to this, and dad is at soccer and football or something like that with the boys. You know, it's like they're not spending all day together either, and then they're, you know, getting together for an hour in the evening getting pizza, and then dad's playing video games and mom's on the phone talking to her friends. So I don't really understand how it's a whole lot different, but apparently it is portrayed different, and then people want to pick it apart and be like, well, you have this horrible marriage because you and Alex don't spend much time together, when in all honesty, like, to keep it 100% transparent, sometimes I feel like we spend too much time together. Sometimes, I don't know if you ever feel like that with your partner, and I know Alex feels the same way because we've talked about it. It's like, go out, do your thing, like, I need some space, you know? Because we both work very, very hard at what we do and what we enjoy doing passionately, you know, that at the same time, like, when we share time together, it's very, like, just us spending time together. So, I don't know. I also am not the kind of person, and really neither is he. I mean, it looks good on Instagram photos. I mean that genuinely, I do. It looks good on Instagram photos, and then it always, you know, I'm always kind of like, okay, we don't have that. But I'm not the kind of person that really, like, for me, and I know this works for other people, and I'm happy that this is their relationship and they're happy out of it, but it's like, I don't want to every night spend 4 hours sitting next to each other on the couch just watching TV, and like I don't know, like I need to have my own things and my own interests, and I need my husband to too. And that's how he continues to stay interesting to me, and how I continue to stay interesting to him, is by us having our own interests, you know? I don't really know what I think about opposites attracting. I think that you probably couldn't get more opposite than Alex and I, you know? I'm 47 and he's 35, and there's a 12-year age difference. He drinks, I don't. He drinks, I'm sober. Those are two completely different things. You know, he's Venezuelan originally, and I'm from here originally. And, you know, his family is huge, my family is small. You know, there's so many differences between us, but like somehow it works. And, I don't know. I don't really honestly think much about it. I think also because we've kind of like gone through hell a little bit, you know? Like we've had some really bad times in our marriage. That like now, like Alex was talking the other day, and we were just like, this is the kind of stuff like I don't talk about really on my vlog, but that we'll, you know, we were sitting in the living room, and so we have like check-in meetings, like, you know, like once a week we'll sit there and we'll just kind of talk about where we're at and how things are going with either one of us, you know, like how are you feeling about things and whatever, because we're not in counseling right now, and we didn't get another counselor. We tried desperately to find one, but we haven't been able to find one, and then we kind of just stopped looking because things were going good. I don't think it would hurt us to be back in counseling, not because I think that we rely on a counselor, but because it was really helpful to us, and we're both open to that. So that's something that we're both wanting to do. So we'll find somebody. But we were just kind of checking in and whatever. And, you know, Alex said, like, emotionally, like, my, how did he say it? It was like kind of like how Vicky says it from the Real Housewives of Orange County. He's like, you know, emotionally, like my love tank is full. Like I don't need anything else from you right now. Like I'm so happy and I'm so emotionally fulfilled right now. And I was like, I am too. And, you know, we were just kind of checking in about, you know, like what either one of us needed in the relationship, and were there things that we weren't giving each other right now and things like that. Because I think it's important to have those kind of conversations. And back in the day, those were the conversations we did not have. You know, like, are you physically getting your needs met? Are you emotionally getting your needs met? Those were not conversations that we had back in the day. And then one day we just woke up and everything was horrible. And we're like, how did we get here? And do we get divorced? Or do we go fix this? You know? And that was where we decided that we were going to put everything that we possibly could into our marriage for a year and then see what happened. Well, that was 2.5 years ago, and we're still here, you know? And so if people feel like they need to pick my marriage apart, I'm totally fine with that. Like, people are, I put my life out there, I guess, for people to pick apart. But I would also, like, maybe in some small recess of your mind, that you could also look at us as role models about how to fix your marriage, you know? Because I really thought we would get divorced. I mean, in all honesty, I really thought that we were not going to make it. And it was just so many different things, you know, that we just weren't on the same page, and there just was a lot. And I would rather be an example of couples that can get into counseling and can save their marriage and can be like, okay, great, we're back, you know, where we need to be. And this is how it works for us. And this is the language we speak as a couple. It doesn't have to be the same language that everybody else speaks, but this is what works for us, right? It's like when people always ask me, they're always like, you know, when you're a gay couple, oh God, is it out of focus? Has it been out of focus for a while? Come on. Oh, don't do this to me tonight. Come on. I try to figure out how to do this, and I'm like, put your nose to your toe, to your face. Okay, is it coming back? Come on. I don't want to turn it off and turn it back on. I don't want to have to do that. Is it coming back in? Hold on, you guys. Okay. you know, like, as gay couples that have been together for a really long time, we always get asked questions like, you know, like, oh, are you guys in an open relationship? Or, you know, do you do this and do that? And I'm like, no. Why do you think that there can't be successful gay couples out there, you know, that have traditional marriages? Does that mean we haven't had problems? You know, does that mean that life hasn't been tough at times for us in our marriage? No. But, you know, it's like, I wish people would, like, you know, back in the day, I haven't talked about marriage counseling on here for a long time because we're not in it right now, you know? But when we were in it, I would get so many messages from people saying, like, we just started marriage, my husband and I just started marriage counseling. Thank you so much for talking about it. You really inspired us to want to go. You really inspired us to, you know, like, do this. I'm so thankful, blah, 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 whatever. And I really wish people would look at us and be like, well, you know what, Peter and Alex, like, they almost didn't make it. And they were at a really tough time, and they went through some stuff, and they did. And, you know, like, I'll never forget my husband looking at me and saying, this marriage is more important to me than anything. Like, we need to put everything we can possibly put into it for a year. And then at the end of the year, if we have each put everything that we have into it, and we can say, like, we're still not happy, we still don't want to be in this marriage, then we can walk away, but we'll have walked away feeling like we put everything into it. And I was like, okay. Because I was the one that was resistant to going to counseling. I was the one that didn't want to go. You know? I just got some long text from somebody. But I was like the one that didn't want to go. You know what I mean? And it saved our life. And I'm the one that's then like bawling well, we both were, but I was like bawling my eyes out the last day of our appointment with our counselor, because, you know, he was, if you don't know the story, so our counselor that we went to that we loved, he ended up getting like his dream job, which sounds funny that he was a counselor and then he got his dream job, but he got a dream job that had like nothing to do with counseling. It was like, I don't want to say, but anyway, to keep him private, but it just was something like more creative. He got like, it's a really cool job that he got. So he shut down his practice, you know? And I mean, of course we're supportive of that, but at the same time, it was like that last day, I was just like, I can't believe, like, we trust you so much. And, you know, now, like, I gotta pull in here and see what this text is, because I don't know who is texting me at 4:41 in the morning. And I have a feeling it might be this thing that I just ordered, and they're like, confirmation that your thing has been shipped or something like that. I'm like, really, so quickly? But, you know, we were so emotional about the fact that we were losing him, because he was so fantastic and he was such a part of our relationship. I mean, we used to joke and say it's our counselor Alex and I in our relationship, you know. Oh my God, your order has been shipped. That is so crazy, you guys. I literally just ordered it tonight and it has been shipped. And that was the one for David that I was worried about that wouldn't come on time. And I didn't FedEx it, but you know, there's like 3 different levels of like shipping. Well, often there's more than that, but tonight there was like regular shipping, and there was like expedited shipping, but expedited was like 3 to 9 days. I was like, God, I hope it gets here in time for Christmas. And then there was FedEx, and it was like $15. I was like, no ma'am, that's about half the price of the thing that I bought, my lord, or the third of it. I don't know. Anyway, I mean, if you've watched my vlog for a long time, all I'm saying is this, you know, my marriage may not look like what your marriage looks like. My relationship might not look like what your relationship looks like, and that's okay. You know, even with people that have issues with like gay couples and gay men or women or whatever, you know, that's fine. If you don't, if my life doesn't translate to yours, that's fine. But like, you know, like I say with recovery, it's like find the similarities, you know, and maybe I hope that somebody can look at that and they can not have to go through what we went through. You know, my husband and I are such advocates for therapy, you know, counseling and marriage counseling and things like that. And, you know, like the thing that Alex will always say to everybody is, whenever we're like out to dinner with a couple and they're like, you know, what advice do you have for other couples and stuff? Alex always says, go to marriage counseling before you get married. Like, go to premarital counseling. And I think it's true. I think you learn so much about each other in counseling, you know? And like, my husband became very he learned about being emotional because he had a hard time like identifying his emotions in therapy. And, you know, and I learned how to be less emotional and not take everything personally. And, you know, so it's kind of like our roles, kind of like if I was up here and he was down here, you know, we kind of like brought him closer together. We're not on, I would never say we were on the same page, but I think we're closer than we were. And I think that we are able to speak a common language now. That was, I would say before Peter was speaking Peter's language and Alex was speaking Alex's language, and I would say now we each speak our own language, but then we also have a third language that we speak. It's just the language of our marriage. And I don't know, I hope that maybe at least one person out there can see that. And if you're struggling in your marriage right now, or if you're thinking, I don't know that I want to be in this marriage anymore, or, you know, I mean, I had done it, like, you know, I had been through it through breakups and serious relationships twice before, and Alex had been through it once before, and we didn't really want to go through the breakup and the dating and the, you know, meeting. It's a lot, you know? So you break up, and then you are single for a little while, and then it's like, but what you really want is to be in a relationship, so you start dating again, okay? And so then you're dating people, but you're comparing the person that you're dating to your last person and what they did right or wrong. And then you meet somebody, and then you have to go through the first date and the first intimacy and the first trip and the meeting the family. And then, like, should we stay together long term? What are we going to call this? Is this exclusive? You know, are we going to, you know, do we want to get married? Do we want to live together? It's all that stuff all over again. And Alex and I were like, well, wouldn't we rather put all that time and energy in saving what we're already happy about than going to try to find somebody new that we're going to have to restart it all over with anyway? You know, and that's what we did. And it didn't mean that we didn't, like, redefine our marriage to some degree, because I really believe that Alex and I have had two different marriages. I believe that we had the marriage that we had when we went into counseling, and I think that we have the marriage that we have now that we defined as we came out of counseling. I don't think our marriage is the same ever as it was before, and it was a lot about throwing out preconceived ideas of what I thought marriage should be, or what he thought marriage should be, you know, and what that meant and things like that. The other thing I will tell you is, I never, ever, ever anymore, like, judge somebody else's marriage. I never stand outside of it and look at it and think, well, I wonder why they do this, or I wonder why they do that. I always think, my thing is now, because I learned this so much in our, you know, counseling, is that works for them. I'm really happy that works for them. I have friends of mine that are in relationships that make absolutely no sense to me, and I don't need to know it, but they are so happy. I just want my friends to be happy, you know? But like I said, I hope if there's just one person out there watching this tonight, you know, that is like, I'm going through it, I don't know that I want to be in this marriage anymore, my husband won't talk to me, you know, like, my wife won't talk to me, we don't really talk the way that we used to, we haven't had sex in forever, we basically just become roommates, you know, like, I want the passion back, but I don't know how to get it back. It's just, there's an awkwardness between us. I mean, all these things I'm saying to you were true of where we were at, you know? And now, that's just not the case. Like, there's been, like, a passion that's been, like, relit between us. And, so, yeah. So, if there's one person out there, you know, what I would say to you is, tell your partner you really want to get into counseling. I'll tell you what Alex said to me. You know, like, it was really hard I had been to counselors a lot in the past, but this was different. And I just was like, it wasn't that I didn't think that would work. I think I was scared. I think I was scared of the reality that if I went to marriage counseling, we were going to come out and find out that it wasn't going to work. I think that's what my ultimate fear was. if I'm gonna just sit here and be completely 100% transparent to help anybody out there that's on the other side of the screen, I think what my fear is if I enter into marriage counseling, we're gonna find out that we are not right for each other, which was not what happened at all. And it wasn't about being right for each other or not being right for each other. It was that we chose to be together because my husband is not a believer in fate anyway. Like, we fell in each other's arms. I mean, my husband's a believer in we met at a certain time and space in life, and let's make this work because we enjoy each other's company. We travel very well together. We choose to spend our enjoy our families together. You know, we have dogs together. We've decided to spend our lives together. So let's make this work, you know, and let's have the best life that we can possibly have. I was much more along the lines of, it's fate that we are brought together. I don't necessarily believe that today. I like the idea of it, but I don't necessarily believe it. But anyway, I think I was scared that if we went to counseling and, you know, Alex brought up things that he wasn't happy about and I brought up things that I wasn't happy about, that all of a sudden we were going to have all of this shit just sitting in between us of things that made us unhappy that we were going to have to just look at, you know, and be like, well, what do we think about this? And I didn't really want to deal with that. I was too scared. And I think this is why people walk away and they just get divorced. I think often in life, the person that files for divorce, I think maybe they look at that pile of shit and it's easier to walk away than to have to, and I'm just, if you filed for divorce, I'm not blaming you or saying anything. I think, you know, just for me, in looking at relationships in the past that I've left, I think even friendships, you know, or working relationships, I think it's just easier sometimes to look at that pile of shit or pile of crap, you know, and just be like, I'm just gonna walk away and not have to look at it, not have to deal with it. It's just easier to start over, start fresh, start new, than have to actually deal with that, right? But I don't know, like, our marriage now, like, I think had we not gone through what we went through, like, and almost lost each other, I don't think we'd have the strong relationship that we have today. I just don't. Like, our relationship is 100 times stronger as a result of having gone through what we went through. But that's just us, you know? I don't know. I think, you know, here's what this is what I would suggest, having gone through it myself, to anybody out there. You know, Alex looked at me and he said, he had brought up counseling like 3 or 4 times. Okay, I'll find somebody, I said. I'd find somebody. And finally, Alex's stepbrother died like 2 years ago. I think that was 2 years ago. And he had been sick for a really long time. He had a lot of different diseases. And he died on, like, between Christmas and New Year's, I can't remember. I think it was like the 30th was the funeral. And it was not a good time for us. Like, it just wasn't. Things were tough for us. And, he looked at me, and I don't know when it was, but that was like kind of the precipice for it. I don't know, it probably would have been like a month or 2 after that. It was around the time that we were going to Ultra, which would have been March. So it was between like January and March, because I remember going to the funeral. And Alex looked at me, we were like standing in the bedroom, and he said, we're either going to get a counselor or we're going to get divorced, and you need to pick. Because he had brought it up like 3 or 4 times. And I was like, okay. And he goes, I'm serious. He was like, because things are not getting better for us, and I really want to save this, I really want to fix this, but we can't do this on our own. And you know it, and I know it. And he said, and one of us is just going to walk away if we don't try to fix this. And like, I think I had been under the pretense, and I think I was lying to myself for like a really long time about, you know, just whatever. And so we kind of had a discussion about finding a counselor, and he was like, he said to me, I said, well, I got like real righteous, and I was like, these are the things I want. And number one was, and they must understand recovery and speak the language of recovery. I don't care if they're sober, but they need, but and I think in retrospect, it was better that our counselor understood so much about sobriety, but he wasn't in sobriety. I think that was really smart, actually, that just kind of happened. So anyway, you know, and having worked in the field, I think that was hard for me too. You have to kind of leave that stuff at the door when you go in, you know, like, so anyway, Alex found this guy, and he had like called him, and so I called him, like we were having a hard time getting a hold of each other, I remember. And so finally he called me, and I answered, and I said, I just have some questions for you. Like, if you're gonna start with a counselor, shop counselors. Like, I think finding somebody that you're comfortable with, finding somebody that you have a rapport with is more important than anything, you know? And I said, can I ask you some questions? He was like, yeah, sure. I can see myself right now. I was like sitting in my office, and I was like talking to him. I had just like stopped. I don't know what I was doing. I had like stopped in there, and I was like sitting there, and I had that TV on in the background. And I can see it as I'm talking to him. And I was like asking him about recovery. And I was like, what do you know about recovery? And like, I wasn't going to be like, recite the 12 steps to me. But right from the get-go, I could tell that like he understood a lot about sobriety. And he was like in his mid-30s, and he was married and had like 2 little kids, and he was just a very gentle soul. And I said something to him, this was why I was like, okay, this is gonna work. I said something to him on the phone, and he said, it was probably kind of a little bitchy, and he said, you know, Peter, he said, if you don't come in here with he goes, you know this, having worked in the field, he said, if you come in here and you don't have an open mind, this is not gonna work, so don't waste your time and mine. And I was like, oh, snap, okay, so we got a counselor that's gonna challenge me. And that sold me on it. I was like, this is the right person for us. And we went in, and I mean to tell you, our lives changed. Literally, our lives changed. And it didn't happen overnight. But he was challenging, he was hard on us, he was so good, he was so loving, he was so kind, he was so compassionate, you know, and I mean, and he looked at us the last night, I'm like gonna get teary-eyed, you know, talking about this, but like he looked at us the last night because I said, I owe my marriage to you. And he said, you guys did all the work, you know. But I'm so proud of my husband. I'm so proud of our marriage and the work that we've done, you know. So those comments, like what I was saying earlier, they don't really bother me, but I will say this, like, could it at least maybe somebody out there, like, I hope that because I share so much about it, because I want it to be helpful for other people, I hope there's at least one person out there that somebody sees it as a role model, you know, or like the experience of somebody else to be like, this is what, you know, maybe you can do with your marriage when things aren't great. You know, we say all this stuff like relationships are hard and work is hard and marriage is hard. But then when it really comes down to doing the work, nobody really wants to do the work. You know, they just really don't. They'd rather stay in sexless, loveless, no romance. I mean, I can't imagine there's anybody out there that doesn't want romance or intimacy or love, whatever, however you define that, okay? Intimacy doesn't have to mean, you know, straight up, you know, sex every night. It could just be like holding each other or kissing each other or holding hands in the car and, you know, being intimate towards each other. And I don't think there's anybody that doesn't want that with their partner. I just don't believe that, you know? And if you've gotten to that point that you look at that person and you really don't like them anymore, what's happened? How did you look at each other when you first met? Think about that first date, or that first 6 months, or that first, those first couple times. Like, what did you think when you looked at them? Did you get butterflies in your stomach thinking about seeing them? Don't you want that back? You can get that back. And I think that we get in this regiment of allowing our body images and finances and family and kids and work and being tired and all of this to come in the way of our relationships, when at the end of the day, I think that being able to have that, listen, there are so many people out there that will never meet a partner. Like, I remember my mom and I having this conversation, and she said, Peter, you were never promised a partner in life, or something like that, or I can't remember how she said it to me, but anyway, we were watching like a Jerry Springer episode or something, and I was like, oh my God, these people are always like fighting. Like, she's got 2 boyfriends, and I can't even get one. My mom goes, you are not promised a partner in life. There are so many people that will never meet a boyfriend or a girlfriend or have a partner or have a longtime companion or a husband or a wife or whatever, So I think that for those of us that do have it, let's not take it for granted. Let's put as much love and compassion and kindness into saving those relationships and and not just saving them, like by a thread, but like making them as strong as possible, I love the idea of love. I think love can change so much. And I loved when reading, what was I going to say? The pun. I love. When I was reading the 4 Agreements, and it talked about the power of love in there. And if you start looking at the world through the eyes of love, wasn't that song from Ice Castles back in the day? Oh my God, I can't believe I just said that. How corny. But like seriously, like if you start looking at the world through the perspective of love, right? I just want to show you guys. There's like a manger scene over here, a huge one because it's next to this church. But I just want you to see these trees that are blue. They are so pretty. Look at these. Aren't they so pretty? But anyway, I think that if we, really look at the world through the point of view or the perspective. I need to clean this windshield. How many times have I said that in the last 2 weeks? Like every single time I vlogged. I really think that if we look at the world through a perspective of love, right? It's like, okay, have you ever like looked at somebody's like thing, like, okay, I'm trying to think of an example. Okay, do you ever follow somebody like on Instagram or whatever, but you don't really like them? Okay, like you don't really like them. Here, I'm gonna throw this out to you as a suggestion. Just try it, okay? If you follow somebody on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, but you don't really like them, and you just follow them to kind of keep tabs on them, and just like, oh, I want to see what's going on, blah, 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 whatever, but you don't like them. There's nothing about them that you like. In fact, when you see like a picture that they post, you're like, I can't stand her. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, it's going to stop. Hold on. Okay. But like when you see the picture, it's just like, you're always like, oh, can't stand her. And who does she think she is, right? And then when they like tweet something out, you're like, oh, really? Well, I'm going to tweet this out, but you don't, because you don't want to like start a war or whatever. You know, you're seeing some picture on Facebook and you're like, oh, look at her with her happy family. And she's always posting that she's checking in at the gym. And just because I'm 60 pounds overweight, who does she think she is? She's so fancy because she's working out at the gym all the time. Oh, shove it up your butt that you always are checking in at the gym. Why? You know what I mean? And you just like, okay. What if you changed your perspective on how you looked at her? Well, first of all, what I would recommend that I would really like you guys to try that I was going to say is delete that person, okay? Delete them from Facebook, delete them from Instagram, and unfollow them on Twitter. see if you feel better. I will tell you at first, you will want to go in secretly and look at their stuff, but over the period of a week or two, it will change. And then one day you'll just realize, I feel so much better because I don't see their stuff anymore. You don't have to. You don't have to see their stuff. It's not a requirement in life that you have to look at stuff that makes you feel better, that makes you feel worse. You know, you don't. You could fill up your Instagram with, oh, this is so bad. You could fill up your Instagram with those beautiful destination, you know, things. But anyway, you don't have to participate in that negativity in life. You don't. You can look at things through the perspective of love and just follow people that make you feel happy and just follow people that make you feel positive. You know, we talk a lot about social media and it bringing us down and making us feel negative. Don't follow people that make you feel negative. If the Kardashians make you feel less than, don't follow them. You know? If some model that you follow makes you feel like you're fat, don't follow them. Unfollow them. Be done with it. Oh, but I like them. They're intriguing to me. But they bring you misery. They bring you sadness. They make you feel worse about yourself. Why are you doing this? This is stupid. You know, I don't do that anymore. I used to follow all of these, like, guys that were, like, super built and have these beards because I, you know, like, think that kind of guy is, like, very attractive and, you know, and like these kind of lumberjack looking guys. And I used to follow a lot of them back in the day. And the reality was because I wanted to look like that, right? Well, I don't look like that. That's not me today. And when I look at those pictures, I feel bad about myself. It makes me feel like, oh, well, I'm not that and I'm not this. And, you know, and there's no reason. And I went through, I don't know, it was like a year or two ago, probably a year ago. And I thought, why am I following all of these people that have, all these guys that have these perfect bodies that I'm never going to have? I could be at the gym 6 hours a day and I would never look like them. I've never had a body that looked like them even when I was working out. I never will have a body that looks like them. And I'm not going to continue to follow them because I don't get any enjoyment out of it. It just makes me feel bad about myself, you know? So I unfollowed them all, and they would keep on getting requested to me because, of course, I had followed them forever, whatever. And I would go in every once in a while and look at their pictures, and I don't anymore, and I don't really care. I follow people that I like today, and I don't ever really look at anybody and feel bad about it. And if I do, like, this is so funny, like today, if I'm like following somebody and like something comes up and it just kind of like, it like gives me like kind of a negative response, I immediately just unfollow them. I'm like, you do not need this in your life. We don't have to have that negativity in our life, you know? And I think then also looking at things through the perspective of love, it's like when I have people in my life that I don't necessarily get along with. Well, first of all, I don't have a lot of people in my life today that I don't get along with. But let's say, you know, through like work or whatever you do in life, you know, like, you know, I'm not going to say that I love everybody that I, you know, that's in my, like I meet at meetings and stuff. There's people that drive me crazy, and I'm sure there's people that I drive crazy as well, you know. So, but if I look at them through the point of view of love, you know, and I think like, okay, I'm just going to make up somebody. Like if there's this person over here and they're just like constantly whining and complaining, and I'm just like, oh my God, shut up, right? But then if I switch that perspective and I look and I think, well, maybe they don't have anybody that listens to them, you know, and I look at it from a point of love, you know, maybe they don't have anybody that listens to them. Maybe they don't have anybody in their life, you know, outside of this, you know, that validates their existence, that makes them feel like they're important, and this is how they feel that way. You know, maybe they just need to be loved. Maybe instead I could go over there and, you know, like lend a hand or an ear and be like, hey, do you need somebody to talk to, you know? How could I make that person's life a little bit better? Instead of, you know, making it about me. And then because then that's a selfish act to say, you know, like, oh, this person is driving me crazy. Okay. You know, or this person, like, God, I can't stand what this person, whatever. Well, what about that person? Maybe that person's, you know, like situation is whatever. You know, it's like, it's interesting because, you know, it's no mystery to me, and I think you guys know that I have haters that watch all of my channels. And I have haters that watch this channel, and I mean, I get about the same amount of dislikes on my videos every day, so I know how many of them there are, or how many of them have fake accounts or whatever. And it's no mystery to me. What is a mystery to me is, I will say, that somebody that dislikes me so much, that watches an hour to an hour and a half of my life every day, like, I really don't understand that. Now I will tell you this, that like I have seen channels where people will like hate. I don't really understand the whole concept of hate watching, but like where people will hate watch people because of like it just, they come across as kind of ridiculous or silly or whatever. But the reality is when I'm driving around in a car and I'm talking about being sober for 25 years or my mom having passed away or going to dinner with my husband, what about that is something that you can watch to hate watch? Like, it's not even interesting enough to hate watch. I mean, let's just be for real. Let's call it out for what it is, okay? It's not like I'm coming over here. I mean, yes, in every vlog I'll say something about like, oh, I need to start my diet. Okay, I can understand, because I've never started my diet on this channel, why people would want to hate watch that and be like, oh my God, he always says he's gonna start his diet, he never starts his diet. I can understand that, right? But like the majority of what I talk about over here is not stuff that people would hate watch. So then the people that dislike me are really watching an hour to an hour and a half of my life every single day. They hate me that much, that they are that invested in my life. Like, you guys, like, that is, like, in all honesty, that's like over 300 hours a year that people that do not like me, 10 to 15 people, maybe more, have invested in me in the last year. 300 plus hours, okay? Well, you know, in the past, I would be kind of like, well, let them watch it, whatever they want. You know, when I started it, it really did bother me when I started it. I'd be like, oh, these people, they don't like me, blah, 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 whatever. You know, and then over time, it was kind of like, well, they have their right to their opinion if I'm going to have my right to my opinion, which I agree with, you know? But then over time, what kind of switched is, it kind of made me sad, in all honesty. Like, I would start, like, you know, looking at it from kind of a perspective of love, and I would be like, I would really try to understand this whole idea of hate watching, because I don't understand. I really just don't understand it, you know? And in all honesty, the fact that I get several hundred positive, or I get several hundred likes on a video and very few dislikes, to me, I mean, it's telling to this channel. I just don't get that many negative comments. And in all honesty, on this channel, if you completely come for me, I mean, if you're just like cutthroat, I block you. I'm just like, I've said this for a very long time. I don't have a problem deleting comments and blocking people on this channel. I just don't. I'm accused of it on other channels, and I very rarely do it on other channels, but on this channel, this is my life, so I don't have a problem blocking and, you know, deleting comments over here, and I've said that for quite some time. Because I also want it to be a safe place for other people in my comment sections, because people are so kind. In fact, somebody left a message yesterday, or messaged me and said, oh shoot, I wish I knew where it was, but they said that they had said something in their vlog, and like, they had said something in the comment section, and like 4 or 5 people came and said, shoot, I'll have to go in there to see what it is. I don't want to just like, I have an idea of what it is, but I don't want to be wrong, you know, and then, but anyway, and like 5 people were like, oh my God, shoot, what was it? I think it was my review channel, actually, and it was a woman that said something about, she wanted to get back into skincare, but she didn't have, like, in skincare and makeup, but she didn't have a lot of money right now. This car is seriously going the wrong way up the street. But she didn't have a lot of money. It looked at this way U-turn, and that she didn't know where to start and what like low-end brands she should start on to like buy and things like that. And several of the women reached out to her on the video and were like, hey, I've got a bunch of extra stuff sitting around if you want it. Like, I'll send it to you. Like, that is so fantastic. Like, that is so cool. And that's not me. That's just in the comment sections of my videos. I don't claim that at all. You know, I think you guys are the ones that are fantastic. But I used to look at the haters in this way, and I'd be like, just kind of like irritated by it, or it just kind of annoyed me. But like now, I look at it, and I think, what really drives somebody to the point where, like, they would want to spend their time, and not just on my channel, but on anybody's channel. I mean, literally on anybody's channel, okay? Like, I know a lot of people, like, there's a lot of you out there that will say, like, I'm a silent watcher, I never comment. I mean, I'm sure there are some of you out there that have literally, oh, my battery's about to die. Hold on, let me pull in here. And change my battery. And hey, Valerie, Valerini, if you're watching this. Tonight I was driving behind Valerie, And she's a very like specific car. And I was like, I think that's Valerie. And I called her, I go, Valerie, did you just pull into Taco Bell? She goes, oh my God, are you following me? I go, no, I went past. I said, but I saw you, you were in front of me. So anyway, okay, hold on a second, make sure I have my, if I didn't bring it, I'm gonna be real upset. Because I had it on the counter. Here it is. Okay, hold on, be right back. Okay, I'm back. Anyway, battery is changed and all that. But what I was saying was, I think that there are probably, I had to go back and look and see exactly what I was saying at the very end. I think there are probably a lot of people out there that have watched literally every vlog of mine and have never commented once because they're silent watchers, which I totally understand. And I get emails from people all the time that will say, I have never commented on one of your videos, but I've watched every single one of your videos, or, you know, on and on and on. And so anyway, I don't know, I just kind of looked at things completely from a different point of view. And I think I'm not gonna change anybody's mind. You know, this isn't me I think this is me trying to look at it from a point of love. I'm not so ridiculous that I think that, oh, I'm gonna, like, these people don't like me for whatever reasons, or, you know, they have these issues with me or whatever, and I'm gonna change that perspective, and they're gonna come back and they're gonna be like, oh, Peter, I used to really not like you, and now I really do like you, and that's not my motive about it anyway. I really, to be honest with you, I could care less. But it makes me sad, you know, like, when you're finding joy out of disliking something, no matter what that is, even if it's just my silly vlog, I mean, in all honesty, like, it really doesn't affect me. So I don't, like, it doesn't really, I don't internalize it. There was a time that I did, but I don't anymore. So then I think, you know, and I guess I don't see it so much on my channel because my channel just doesn't really have a lot of that. But I will go to like other people's channels and I'll just see like the comments just filled with hate, right? And it's like, we, you know, are here. And this is what I would say to anybody that is sitting out there that falls into that category, okay? Just as something to think about. Like, I'm not trying to convince you to change. I'm not trying to, you know, make you, and this is not even a feel bad thing, just to think about this in regards to your own life, okay? I think sometimes we watch other people that we don't like, or we participate in not liking something else. I've done this much of my life too, because it makes us feel better about our own circumstances, or, you know, it takes us away from our own misery of what is going on, right? And, you know, the thing is like, we are literally here for a limited amount of time on this earth, okay? A limited amount of days, a limited amount of hours in each day, a limited amount of minutes in every hour. So when you are spending time participating in something that you don't like, focusing on something that is negative or not productive in your life, you're throwing your life away. And if that's what you choose to do, that's what you choose to do. That makes me sad for people, because I spent so much of my life bitching and complaining and, you know, oh, let me tell on somebody else, and let me show you what this, how rotten of a person this is, and let me tell you, like, I spent so much of my life in that negative, dark arena of the world. There is nothing good that comes out of it, you know? And then I started like meeting people that just, that was nowhere even on their radar, you know? Like, they just lived these fantastic lives. You know, I was talking about joking in a video of mine on my drama channel, and then I talked about it over here about living your best life. But they, like, their best life was really, I think, in some ways being unaware of the negativity. Like, you know, you would say something to them and they'd be like, oh, I don't even really, what? I don't know what you're talking about. Like, they would just be completely unaware that this whole, like, negative kind of world or vibe even existed, you know? And I can remember, so there was this woman that I met, and I used to go to this noon meeting every single day. And like Monday through Friday, I would go to this noon meeting. This was just like 6 or 7 years ago. And she would come in, I would say like maybe every 2 weeks, maybe every week, maybe every 2 weeks. And she'd just pop into like a meeting every once in a while. And she'd been sober for a while, like over 20 years or something. And she would just, I don't know how long she'd been sober, but anyway, I haven't seen her in forever. And and I didn't even know her personally. She would just come in and she would just like share. And I would just be like this when she would like share what she was talking about. I'd just be like, it was just filled with so much like peace and serenity, and like that was so attractive to me. But I didn't really know, and I guess this is what I would say to the people out there that are like, oh, whatever, he's just saying that because he hates our negative comments, or, you know, oh, whatever, he's just, you know, he's pissed because we talk about him. I'm really not. Like, I really am not, and I really could care less, and you're the one that's affected about it, not me. So I don't care if you continue with it. But what I will say to you is, it is having an effect on your life. Because I didn't realize that when I was participating in that negativity, I thought my judging other people and my saying other things, and trust me, I know I do drama videos, and that to some degree is gossiping and judging other people, but I try to post my video and move on, and I also try to give constructive criticism. But, you know, at the same time, it's not missed on me what I do, I will say that. And so if this is, you know, your form of entertainment, and you can rationalize that in your head and go, well, I can, you know, like watch Peter and I really dislike him and whatever, and that's my form of enjoyment, then I think that that's your form of enjoyment, and you should continue that. But if that's not it, and you're finding yourself consistently watching me and other people, okay, because it brings you joy to watch somebody else that you think is foolish or stupid or saying stupid things or whatever, what's that about? Because I had to ask myself what that was about for me. I had to ask myself, why am I participating in this finger-pointing negativity that is bringing me really nothing positive in my life? You know? And once I stopped kind of doing that, like really doing it, like in my personal life, you know, things started changing for me. Like, really, they did. Because the flow of, like, positivity, the flow of negativity wasn't coming into my life anymore. So, anyway. I'm not stupid. I know I'm not going to change anybody's opinions or their minds or whatever out there, but I just think, you know, if there's one person that's watching this out there right now that really dislikes me and is watching this and thinks to themselves, maybe I do want to be happier. Maybe I don't want to participate in this. You know? You deserve better. We each deserve better. We each deserve to have the best life that we can possibly have. And I don't know that I necessarily really ever believed that, you know, for a long time. And yeah, anyway, I've gone on and on about that, but you know, I kind of equate it to, I'm like, do I really want to bring this up? But, you know, like, I don't have really huge issues with people's, I think this is more kind of like the Westboro Baptist Church kind of thing, but like people who have huge issues with like trying to fight against like gay marriage, so to speak, right? But like, I remember Tanya and I were having this conversation one night, and she straight up like asked me like what I thought about like people coming, like religiously coming, like, you know, for gay marriage or whatever. And I said, you know, I Tanya, honestly, like, and this was before marriage equality had passed, and I said, you know, it's gonna pass, it just hasn't passed yet. And I said, I guess what makes me sad is, and I understand people standing by their religious convictions. I would never tell anybody that they shouldn't do that. But at the end of your life, like literally in the last 2-3 minutes of your life, when you're flashing back over everything that was important to you, will you have been so thankful that you spent the majority of your life trying to keep two people that loved each other apart? Like, is that really, like, when you look back on your life, you know? So I guess what makes me sad about that is somebody that can't see other people through the lens of love, so they focus so much on that they really miss out on their own lives, you know? And it's like, so I just really never paid it much attention. I just never really did. And I really just don't get in those conversations with people. I mean, people are like, well, I don't believe in gay marriage. I'm like, okay, well, I mean, I don't believe in sugar, but it exists. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I mean, believe it or not, I don't really care. It doesn't affect me any, you know what I mean? And I just don't get into those conversations with people. But it makes me sad. It makes me sad for those people that are so focused on, like, spending their whole lives on somebody else's misery. Like, if you spent your whole life on building somebody up, and your whole life was built on cheering somebody on and helping them be successful in life, at least if they were successful, you could be like, yes, I succeeded at something, right? But if you spend your whole life on, like, the downfall of somebody and the misery of somebody else, like, what do you gain from that? Like, nothing. And in reality, then your life itself, if you find joy in somebody else's misery, take a look at where your misery level falls on that. Way lower than theirs does, right? So in reality, when you're hating on somebody else's life and you're looking at their life, your life is pretty sad. Like, and that makes me sad for people. I don't want that for people. I want people to have them, I mean, that's why I try to tell the stories that I do. That's why I try to share the things about my sobriety. That's why I try to tell people about things like marriage counseling, so that they can, you know, learn from the examples that I've had in my life, the mistakes that I've made, and have the best life possible. If it's important for people to poke fun at that, poke fun at that. I don't really care. But invest in your own life a little bit too. You know, you owe it to yourself to do something, you know. What was that saying of that NPR show that I listened to that one time? Was like, the guy went around the world playing this piano, and on his piano he had this thing, and it said, you owe it to yourself to do something amazing with your life. You do. We each do. We each owe it to ourselves to do something amazing with our lives. And that doesn't have to be winning an Academy Award. That could be planning the most fantastic. You know, when I was reading Dope Sick, the mom in there, Jesse's, I think it was Jesse's mom, knew that, like, he loved sunflowers, and so, like, his friends all brought him sunflowers, or brought sunflowers to the funeral, and she took all of the seeds out of them, and then when she went home, she planted this, like, garden of sunflower seeds beside her house, and, like, the sunflowers would grow to be, like, taller than her. And I just love that. Like, you talk about doing something amazing with your life, like, that's an example of that, you know? A sunflower garden. It doesn't have to be deep. But kind of on some weird level, a sunflower garden is kind of deep, isn't it? Like, it is kind of deep, you know? If you think about that. I like that. So anyway, I'm kind of all over the place today, aren't I, with this vlog? Peter, you are all over the place today. I know. You guys, I looked in my back seat. I don't know if I can reach it or I would show it to you. But I have my cinnamon toast in there that I brought home from Parachute on Sunday. I didn't even know it was still back there. Like, we walked out and I put it in the back seat. And I was like, oh, I saw it in there and I was like, I need to throw that away. I guess I'm probably not going to eat that. Maybe I'll go and... Can birds eat cinnamon toast? I was gonna say maybe I'd go feed the birds somewhere with the ducks. But I don't even know if the ducks can they eat cinnamon toast? It's probably not good for them, is it? I'll have to Google that and see. Do you remember that back in the day when you were a kid and you would feed the ducks and you loved it? just like those simple things that make us so happy, isn't it? Well, listen, you guys, I think I'm going to get off here now because I have no idea how long I've been vlogging for. I think over an hour, but I'm not sure. I try to keep them about an hour every day. So anyway, if you guys, I want to ask you this. If you would like me to change the ending of my vlog, let me know. And starting in January, I will do a new ending at the end of my vlog. So just let me know that. If you were like, yes, Peter, we're tired of this old ending. We need a new ending. Anyway, look at these lights over here on the, can you see them? Well, you can't really see them, but anyway, the lights on the bridge. I'm going over the bridge right now. But anyway, I hope you guys are having an amazing Friday, unless you have other plans. But like I always say, this shirt is always like riding up like this. It's always like never looks good. I hope you're having an amazing Friday, unless you have other plans. But like I always say, do not have other plans. Make the most of your Friday. Do something that you enjoy. Do something that is fun. Do something that you'll be proud of today when you look back on it. If, I guess that takes on new meaning after the conversation I just had on here. Well, the preaching session. And, oh, look at these lights. I want to show you guys these lights. Can you see them? Look at this. I'm just going to show you this really quick. Look at this. This is like palatial houses right here. I don't know if you can see this, but it's like a really modern house behind there. This is like a Colts player, I think, lives here. Actually, Andrew Luck lives along here somewhere. He used to live along, he doesn't live here anymore, but I think he used to live along here somewhere. But is that not so beautiful? Okay. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. My hair loves you too, right here. If nobody else has told you this today, I love you. Make sure that you look at yourself in the mirror every single day and you do your daily affirmations. Do you guys do this when you're getting ready in the morning? Do you do your affirmations? Try it. If you've never tried it because you think it's stupid and corny, just try it once, trust me. And look in the mirror and say, I love you. You are valuable. You are important. And you matter, and good things are happening today. Today is going to be a fantastic day. Today's going to be an amazing day. Good things are happening today. And most importantly, make sure that you pass it on to somebody else and let them know how important they are to you in your life. And yeah, I think that's it. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya. Love ya.